So this is me one day after completing Plasma Pulse 3 as my new hardest. So I just wanted to talk about the level here instead of chucking it into the description because describing a level and a journey like this is better spoken rather than typed out. I'll probably just summarize everything in the description, but here we go. Since this is a milestone demon, at least in my eyes, I kind of wanted to talk about my GD experience as a whole to start off. I played very occasionally between 2015 and early 2024 and on mobile, just for the fun of it. Didn't play much besides the main levels. I started playing a bit more diligently during the summer of 2024 and completed my first ever demon mixed, as well as several other popular easy demons like Insomnia, Nightmare, and others, right? And then soon enough, I beat my first medium demon, which was Sirius, after about 250 attempts. I then beat other medium demons like Saturn V, which took me like 1200, I think, and then B, Castlemania, and other stuff like Hell. And then come November 2024, my progress starts to skyrocket as I got the game on PC, which is when I beat my first 3 hard demons in consecutive days: Double Dash, Artificial Powder, and Different Descent. And then 2 weeks later, beat my first insane demon, Supersonic, in about 6,000 attempts. After Supersonic, I beat more easy to hard demons and then played the game casually between early December to early February of this year. I did try to go for Dark Travel as the second hardest, but it was too long to keep going with it. Fast forward to February, I suddenly got an urge to play the game diligently again, and I decided to come back with a big jump to Thanatophobia. It's a click sync level with a really tough pre-drop and a really fast-paced drop for anyone who hasn't heard of it. So it shocked me. I beat it in just around a week with only 4279 attempts. But then after that, I decided to go for its sequel, La Llorona by Cherry Team, which is a beginner extreme demon that isn't as well known as it deserves to be. As its predecessor, it features click sync timings. However, the drop and post drop was considerably harder than the pre-drop. This isn't a description for any of these 2 levels, so I'm not going to go into full detail. However, it took me roughly 17 days to beat La Llorona with a grand total of 8,087 attempts in early March of this year. After March, I mainly played easy levels, including Bismuth, Prometheum, Decode X, and Shrill Manor. Towards the end of March, I had a goal in mind that would lead to my next hardest, that being to complete Acropolis, and then after I'd done that, work on Acropolix, which was an extreme demon solely on timings and nerf control, and it's slightly harder than La Llorona. I eventually scrapped this idea after beating Acropolis, as I discovered the sheer compact difficulty of the level and realized it would be a real nuisance to complete. The next day, I was in class when I got a Nexus video on my recommended of a level called Brain Power, a 2.2 extreme demon verified by Nexus himself that used the iconic song Brain Power by Noma. This level is definitely harder than La Llorona, but not by too much, so I quickly made progress on it over the course of 3 weeks until ultimately dropping it after an extremely unfortunate last input fail at 88%. So this was around the time I set Plasma Pulse 3 as my long-term goal. I wanted to complete later this year, like maybe September or something. Because I found it again on Nexus' channel about a year ago, and a year ago I'd barely completed an easy demon, right? So I didn't really think I could do something like that, but it looked really fun. It looked a lot easier than it was now, speaking after I beat the level. But yeah, so I had originally planned to do Brain Power and then Niflheim, which is another timing level, and then Plasma Pulse 3, but I was curious enough to try and figure out Plasma Pulse 3 earlier on, while right after I got 88 on Brain Power. My entire plan changed after I fluked it to 45% on Plasma Pulse 3 after only 2 days of playing, and I decided to jump straight from La Llorona to PP3. It took me 2 days to get to 45%, but I didn't realize it would take me another 4 weeks on the dot to beat the level. So, yeah. Now that I covered all that, why did I choose this level? First of all, it's very timing heavy, and I discovered a couple months ago that timing is very much my skill set. Second, I love the song. However, at the time of completion, the song is very well starting to get annoying. Third, the level gets to be very flowy in the middle sections, and I'm very appreciative of that kind of gameplay. What are my thoughts of the level? As someone who did the same, I do not recommend jumping to this level. This level has several choke points everywhere in the second half of the level and is fairly unbalanced. I'll list all my fails in the description of the video, but from my memory, I died about 300 times past 57, 125 times past 68, 62 times to 69, and 5 times to the final triples at 97. For those who have hardests harder than this, I strongly recommend this level as it has really fun gameplay for the most part. What are the hardest sections? I'm going to list quite a few here. The beginning, 0 to 5 ball, is definitely where you get most of your deaths, especially when you're starting off. The 20 ship to wave transition is inconsistent. 3 clicks at 31 is by far my most deaths in the pre-drop from 28 to 67. The 39 jump in green orb, you gotta like click it really fast in succession. 45 to 47, the 4th wave in the middle sequence plus the first ball click. 58 to 61, this is widely considered the most inconsistent part of the level because it's the UFO timing is really weird. 65 to 67 wave is consistent but tricky. The 69 yellow orb is the single hardest click in the level. 78 to 79 ball and blind blue orb is really annoying. 83 green orb is somewhat inconsistent. You got to click it like right in the middle, I think. I'm still not certain, but I think you got to click it right in the middle. 94 ship portal. It really depends on where you jump before it. That like it can either blast you up or blast you down. And then the 97 and 98 triples, it's just a choke point. Best part of the level is definitely 36 to 56, and the hardest part is definitely 68 to 79. But yeah, this level took a big toll on me. I died 97 2 weeks before beating the level, so it's like half of the time getting to 97, and then like another 2 weeks to beat the level. It was just a painful experience. I'd say my enjoyability is like, it's a 2 out of 10. If I were to just calculate based on my playthrough of the level, I would say 0 out of 10. But I had a really fun time learning the level, so I gotta take that into account. I'm gonna say my enjoyability was a 2 out of 10. But yeah, that's my thoughts over this level, and yeah, I'm not going to play any new hardest for a while. I think I'm going to stick with some hard and insane demons. I do have an extreme in mind, but not confirmed yet. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching.